And welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Tyler Carlson with us. Tyler, good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great.
You've been a very busy man here lately. What the heck?
And we've been busy, yes. Not as busy as you've been the last 2 mornings I've been listening to you, but you've been very busy. But I saw you last week at the political interface with the folks, and that was great to see.
Yeah,
it was great to have that.
Yeah, it certainly was an eye-opener in a couple areas.
Absolutely, in a number of areas it's an eye-opener, but it's great for people to be educated.
And I would really love to see more people there. I don't know what it is, what it takes to drive people to those events, because they're going to be voting allegedly for some of these people. I mean, there's a lot of voters out there.
There are a lot of voters, and we would certainly hope. We are big on voting. It's something that we as a company get out to vote, but we hope that you get out to vote in an educated way.
Right, absolutely.
Learn the issues. As you said, you would have sat out in that audience and could have readily come up with people who you may want to vote for and people who you definitely wouldn't want to vote for. And I
within minutes, actually, on that one.
It didn't take a lot of time, yes.
You just had to be there.
That's right. And speaking of, I guess this is the political season. We had a great 70th anniversary party, I guess you would say. It's our 70th year. We had a really good district meetings, an annual meeting, and at our annual meeting we had folks show up. Anybody who is an elected official or was an elected official were able to show up, and they all showed up and they did a great job. They all kind of just kept with the theme of happy birthday or good job 70 years. We had Congressman Gosar. We had Sonny Borelli. We had former State Senator Kelly Ward. We had former City Council member Sam Madrano. They all showed up and said congratulations. We had some folks send letters in, and also their staff was there. Senator McCain sent a great letter. Senator Flake sent a great letter, and so did Regina Cobb. And so it was really nice. It was a really nice thing. And as a matter of fact, if we can point up to our webpage, Sam I'm sure will find it at some point, because we do have all of the captured some snippets of the elected officials saying thank you.
Oh, okay.
It's all on our webpage, as well as we have a history of Mohave Electric on the webpage, which I think is really entertaining. It's really something to look at, and there's a lot of people who don't understand what a cooperative is and why a cooperative was formed. So there's a history on there to take a look at, as well as the whole annual meeting. You can actually click on that whole annual meeting.
Wow.
And he's got it up there. We had a packed house, and we had a lot of folks there.
Son of a
It was
gun.
a lot of fun.
Look at that, Tyler. You got him close on.
That's right.
Well, tell me, 70 years ago, you started MEC.
Yes.
It was like a squirrel in a squirrel cage or a hamster with a little belt going to an alternator off an old Model T or something. What?
Well,
how did all this start? Really?
Well, back then we were getting those that were able to get power. We're getting power from the predecessor to Unisource was the Citizens Utilities
Out of Kingman, right?
Yes, and but when we were trying to get to the Peach Springs, Hackberry, even here in the Bullhead City area, and the farmers were trying to get power, so they didn't have to use diesel generators and all to pump water. They couldn't. It wouldn't be served. The investor-owns didn't want to serve us because it wasn't economical. We didn't have the density of meters and such. So 90 people got together to borrowed money. I think what's really impressive is that there was a person in Kingman who basically walked in and said, this is how much land I have, this is how much cattle I have, how much will you lend me in order to build Mohave Electric Cooperative? And that's what it took.
Oh my
and
gosh.
Those 90 folks created Mohave Electric Cooperative, and it's really a testament to that frontier spirit.
It's a legacy.
Yeah, it's an incredible thing, and here we are still today. We're still in business with the same intent and the same mission, which is to provide safe and reliable power at the lowest possible cost, consistent with sound business principles, and that's still where we're at. We're still very competitive, but we are. I mean, we are making investments in reliability and such, but we sit here 70 years later, and including all, all of the folks, all of the elected officials. Not only did they come, but they stayed the whole meeting.
Yeah.
And they were there afterwards too. And I think that that's really amazing. The elected
Says a
officials
lot.
as well as the staffers that showed up, and they learned a lot about Mohave Electric.
How in the world? I mean, Mohave Electric was centralized in pretty much Bullhead City area, right? Initially, I mean, I'm going to get to the Peach Springs here in a minute.
Yeah, no. Actually, it was originally in that Peach Springs, Hackberry. That's originally where most of. In fact, the original office was in Kingman. And if you go to our history, you'll actually see the original. You'll see some of the original office buildings. This is part
That's
of our
old
history.
Bullhead, I think.
Yeah, and so it actually started in Kingman. We still have that office there in Kingman, but it's the office for our crews that service the folks east of Kingman.
That's what was confusing me, because you start talking, and I know that, I mean, everybody in this area is Mohave Electric Cooperative, but then when you start talking Hackberry and Peach Springs, we have to think, well, what, they went around Citizens Utilities, which certainly had Kingman at the time.
That's correct.
Went around them, but that's not the case at all. You were in Kingman and shot up there and
well,
got them.
actually, the way it was is that we got the service territories that they didn't want to serve.
Right.
We didn't go around anything. We were actually given those service territories to serve because the investor-owned utilities didn't want to serve us. So it's not quite that we went in and took it. That's what was given to us, the rural areas that nobody else wanted to serve, and here we are.
Wow.
And the cooperative serve 75% of the land mass of the United States. Cooperatives do, but we only serve 25% of the people. And the reason why is we serve in the less urban areas, the more rural areas.
So had it not been for MEC, Bullhead City would probably be about 10 years behind where it is today.
Quite probably, at least, because then Bullhead City was one of the places that a lot of meters went in too.
I was going to say, yeah. Look at here, we got electricity.
Exactly.
Now we can start them swampers a-going.
That's exactly right.
And living down here on the river wasn't easy in those days. Either.
Absolutely not. And one of the things that we kind of point out, because you talk about history, and I think Sam's got a slide back there, is one of the things that was really popular, and it's been popular since, was the price of consumer goods then and now.
Okay.
And we kind of have a comparison of where we were, and it's right up there on the board. And we talked about the price of the car, price of gallon of gas, gallon of milk, dozen eggs, loaf of bread, and you can see the increase 25 times, 4 times, 20 times. And then you go to where did we go? MEC itself. And there's our costs for 300 kilowatt hour usage, and this is the energy cost. The energy portion of your bill was $19.55.
Holy crap!
And here we sit in 2015 is $25.95.
That's crazy.
Isn't that amazing?
That is.
Isn't that amazing?
That's absolutely amazing.
Yes, and somebody asked me the other day, well, is it just because it's easy to do? Is that why? No, it's not easy. It's actually very difficult to try to make sure that you are being reliable at the same time, getting the best product and the best price for your consumers.
This isn't just something you look at once a week. This is a daily chore, I'm sure, to find the lowest rates for power.
Well, as the board knows, that I have a phone with a special ring, because 24 hours a day I could be contacted to buy or sell or trying to arrange a purchase whenever the price is exactly.
That's a hell of a responsibility.
Right. Well, but I love it. So yeah.
Well, I know you do, but I mean, nonetheless, it's a lot of pressure.
It is, and it is a 24-hour deal. And speaking of those particular prices in our history, which we had a great time, and it was a wonderful event, and we actually do business at that meeting. It's a business meeting at the same time.
Okay.
But we also are faced with a rate increase and a rate change. Back when we did our rate in 2011, the Corporation Commission and the commission at the time and the staff at the time, in their infinite wisdom, decided that we had to file again in 2016, regardless of what was going on, whether we needed a rate filing or not. We had to file, and so we are doing that. But the commission and the commission staff today is they're being fairly flexible, because what we're trying to do is file an expedited filing, such that we don't have to incur the costs that we incurred last time. We incurred almost $800,000 to do that rate change back in 2011, almost $800,000.
Holy crap!
Absolutely. And this time we'll be under $350,000 by doing an expedited rate change. So we're really excited about that. But there is still a rate change, and I think Sam has the next one, and we have a. This is the rate what's going to happen in 2017 if the rate change goes through. So it really isn't a big change from, as you can see here, it really isn't a huge change from 2015 to 2017.
Not even a dollar.
Not even a dollar. That's right. But it is a change, and I want you all to know, and everyone to know, that we painfully agonize over any change, any change in rates. But what we're really doing is, since 2011, we've invested over $38 million of Mohave Electric money. We've invested, borrowed money, and invested it in reliability and products. You have the ability to do online payments now. A person has the ability to have the web portal to go to manage their payments. They also have the ability to look at their usage over the course of a number of years, compare it by temperature, compare it by usage, month by month or year by year. Those were products, and those were infrastructure we put in for people to be able to do that. We've been able to put in, we've worked on reliability, whether it be upgrading our distribution systems, upgrading our transmission systems, upgrading our underground systems. So we put about $38 million in since 2011. We facilitated over $80 million because we've worked with our transmission providers to make sure they are upgrading their system at the same time, and then we applied for a bunch of grants. But we have to repay that $38 million. Eventually, it has to get paid.
Sure.
And so this rate change that we're going through is basically for two reasons, from a residential standpoint especially, is we're going to increase our customer charge. That's our fixed charges to pay for what we've installed. But we're also taking fixed charges out of the energy charge. You and I have talked in the past about the fact that historical rate making has hid fixed charges in the energy charge.
Right, right.
We're taking those all out. So whether you use a little or whether you use a lot, you're paying the same fixed charges. You're paying your share of the system. If you're using a lot, you're not paying somebody else's share. If you're using a little, you're not avoiding paying your share. Mm-hmm. So that's the way our rates will be set up tomorrow. And we're going through this particular rate process. Our rate increase is 1.26%.
Okay.
So it's not huge, but we still agonize over it. When the board first saw the raw numbers showed a number over 2%, and the board said, not good enough, cut and make changes, which that does separate us from a lot of other utilities.
Oh,
a lot of other utilities, that's the rate, and that's the rate. But that's not the board. They said, no, let's figure out how we can cut and get it down some. So they wanted it under 1.5%. So that's our new rate that we're going to be proposing, is a 1.26% rate change. From a residential standpoint, which is the majority of our customers, that's comes out to be 1.4% increase in rates. As kind of to compare that and juxtapose that against folks around us, you already know that we're less expensive than NV Energy.
I kind of got that idea.
That 1.4% isn't going to bring us over NV Energy costs. But Unisource's residential rate increase that they've just that it's pending is 7.6%.
Ow!
And APS's is 7.96%, and they just filed it June 1st. So, if you look at it, from a comparison standpoint, our 1.4% residential increase is drastically lower than our competitors. And we're faced with not just repaying the investments we've made, but also our transmission providers. At least one of our transmission providers their rates have increased 18% since 2011. So we're absorbing those additional rate increase costs, and this is what the rate turns out to be. We hate it. I'm a ratepayer too. Almost all the employees are ratepayers. All the board members are ratepayers. We hate doing this. Mm-hmm. Nobody likes to raise rates. Nobody enjoys that. Trust me, we don't enjoy standing in front of everybody and explaining why the rates are going up. But we certainly do. We agonize over it. But we were required to file a rate case this year.
Right.
The good news is the rate case that we are filing is a 1.26% rate increase.
Tell me something. The ones that your competitors have, the homes that they serve, Are those folks at any point in time able to secure your services? Can you overbuild into there? The infrastructure would be phenomenal, I would assume, having to go into that.
It would be. The infrastructure would be phenomenal, but and I know what you're saying is that it would be nice to be able to pick and choose your electric supplier.
Yeah, because if that's the case, you're coming to Laughlin. That's
right.
all I
I
got to say.
understand that. I have heard that before, not just from you.
Yeah, I bet.
But we're really not allowed to do that. The reason is we all have certificated areas, and we all have an obligation to serve. That obligation to serve means that we have to serve you in our service territory, even if it's uneconomical for us, even if you're not the kind of load we want to serve. But we still have to serve that, and so we've made investments to serve that area. And if somebody else comes in, your investments become stranded all of a sudden, and that's the
And you've incurred more.
And you've incurred more, and that's kind of the unholy alliance or the compromise that's gone into play for all these years for certificated areas, or what is it that you get to serve? You get to serve that, but you also have the obligation to serve that, regardless if it's a load that you like, or a class of customer that you like, or if you think you're going to make money or not, or if the new load looks like it's going to be great bill paying people or not great bill paying people, you still get to or have to serve that load. So you're not really allowed to do that. But there is a way you can move into our service territory, and there is a way in which you can get our service. And being that Bullhead City and the Mohave Valley is one of the more inexpensive places to live.
Yeah, there you go.
In all of Arizona, and one of the reasons are, and not just to live, but also business-wise.
Right.
But one of those reasons are utility costs, and our utility costs are very, very low in this particular area, and we believe that Mohave Electric has a great deal of influence on that, and they are still low.
Now, if I bring something up that may cause you to go off subject for a second, if we got most of this, or is there more that you want to
Well,
talk
the only thing that I would like to touch upon is that we do have meetings coming up. Even though it's a small rate increase, our commitment is to meet with our members regardless, and so we are going to be meeting. We have meetings Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday in what we call our west side of our service territory, where probably about 90% of our meters is in the Bullhead City, Mohave area. So we have those, and you can go to our website. You're going to be getting a mailer. If you're a Mohave Electric member, you're going to get a mailer that talks about this. So we do have, and we'll be going through the presentations and explaining to you what and the why and the how. And there's also one on Thursday, July 14th, and that's at the Pine Fire Station, and that's near Kingman. So that's also a meeting that we're going to have. So we have 4 town hall meetings, as they would be. So we invite folks to come out, invite folks to listen and pay attention. And certainly you have an opportunity to come and interface with us on the issues of our rate change. We don't take it lightly. I know that whenever we've been talking about this to folks around the state, they say, "Wow, 1.26%, that's nothing." Yeah, I know that it's relatively not big, but it's still big to us. It's still an impact to our members, and we're going to interface with our members, or provide the opportunity to interface with our members.
Beautiful. I was blown away when you and I spoke a couple months ago, and you said that there was going to be a position on your board available.
Yes.
And as you and I discussed it, you told me the parameters, if you will, or what a prospective board member, while you were looking, would need to expect insofar as training and learning.
Yeah, it's quite intensive.
I mean, okay, I want to be a board member. Okay, you are, but now here's the hook. Now you want to tell our viewers, because I think it's exciting that your board members are extremely well educated in what they're doing.
They certainly are. Our board members usually come from all walks of life. Typically, we have most board members are retired than they are active working, but that's mainly because of the time requirements. I mean, once a month for a full Thursday, plus any other, and that full Thursday starts at 7 in the morning and goes all day. They also then have to go, within 3 years, they have to become a certified board member from an NRACA, National Rural Electric Cooperative Association. They have to get a certificate within 3 years. And that takes training. And that training is fairly intensive. They probably travel 2 to 3 times a year to take classes.
Wow.
And they have to pass the classes. They don't just attend them, they've got to pass them. And once they pass the classes, they become a certified board member. But most of our board members go beyond that, the certified board member. They want to get to the certified leadership program so they could become officers. And they really do go through and learn the cooperative business, and they learn how to read the financials. They learn what the implications of the financials. And it is fairly important, because when you are running a nonprofit agency, nonprofit organization, or not-for-profit, and that not-for-profit also is providing services that are critical to people, you kind of need to know what you're looking at, and you need to know how to evaluate. You need to know how to measure, and not all of us are in this electric world, and it is a fairly it is a very unique and specific part of the industry. It's not that you just get to walk in and you'll know all the terms and you know how it works. The electric industry is fascinating from the standpoint as which loads and resources have to match each other exactly 60 times a second. And there's infrastructure in place to do that. I mean, if it doesn't match, the system goes unstable and there's blackouts. So it is really an incredibly intensive, technology intensive. You have to understand the finances from the standpoint of being able to understand depreciation, our payments, all of that type of thing, and it's great that people do it, because they don't get paid.
Well, yeah.
They don't get paid to do it. They get paid a little per diem to come and show up, but it's not very much. They're really not. They're doing it because they want to do it. They're doing it because they care about their neighbors, their friends, their families, the businesses. They care because they live and work amongst the community. And
That's dedication.
It is dedication. It is pretty phenomenal.
And when you start talking about all the different things that go on, I will tell you this. Taylor and I had occasion at one point about a year ago to chat one morning about power, because I had a couple of questions that I thought were relevant, and he started telling me about the way this whole thing works. I went out there talking to myself for 2 days after that. There's a lot to it to understand it correctly. I mean, certainly most people wouldn't have to have the knowledge that you do, but anyone on the board that has half of an idea, they have to have half an idea of what's going on. That's just excellent. I mean, it's not a popularity contest as to who's on that board. It's very much a work hard and you can get there, but other than that, forget about it.
Yeah, you got to be dedicated. It's something that you got to be doing it for the right reason. And all of the board members that we have today, including our most newest board member, and I don't have a great deal of experience with him yet, but all the ones that have been on this board really are doing it for the right reasons. You can't be you're not coming on that board because you have your own personal thing that you want to get done.
That's not going to happen.
That's just not going to happen, and it doesn't work. Even the way rates are set, even the way a cost of service study is done and rates are set at the commission is very specific, and very much controlled. And so you got to understand it. You have to understand. And you have to understand what you're looking at, and you have to make tough decisions, like this rate increase decision, where 2% wasn't good enough. And oh, by the way, even though it cost us nearly $800,000 for that previous rate case, it was a full rate case, but the outcome of that full rate case was a higher rate than what we actually went in with.
Right.
So that's kind of a quirk of how this works, but we went in for a lower rate case and it ended up to be higher when it was done. With this new expedited rate case, you usually will end up with exactly what you asked for. And it's only there for what they call small and minor increases, smaller increases in rates, which is 6% or less. And we're well under that 6% number.
I would say so.
But the board itself, like I said, they didn't take the first cut readily. They said, "No, it's not good enough. You got to go back and sharpen your pencil and cut some costs."
Well, obviously did. Obviously did. Thank you so much for coming in this morning.
Thank you.